Today, if you're trying to figure out how to go viral on Instagram, Reels, all that fun stuff, I'm going to bring on a guest who is doing that in a very, very big way, Mr. Dan O'Neill. I got connected with him through Matt and the Broke Agent, and I've just been watching his stuff. It's very engaging, and the coolest thing about it is he has fun doing his job. He kills it in Long Island. They just expanded to Florida. He's an agent that is actually in production, very skilled. So if you want to know how to be a really good real estate agent, kill it on social media, today's episode is going to be the one for you. If you're new to this channel, this is the Prime People Podcast. This is where you learn from all the best in the world. We've had people like Scott McGilvery, Ryan Serhant on, and many, many others. My girl Glenda Baker dropped some hammers about TikTok, and Dan O'Neill is going to do the same thing. This is going to be fun. So let's get right into the show. Welcome to the Prime People Podcast, where we cover all things that got us to where we are today, our team building strategies, the marketing and sales tips that we've learned through thousands of transactions, productivity tips, ways to really just hold yourself accountable to accomplishing what you want to accomplish, and all things content creation, personal development, and not to mention we have some of the best guests on the planet. We definitely do, and today it's Dan O'Neill with the angle of all angles. What's going on, brother?
Oh, come on, man! You're gonna give me anxiety right from the start. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. It's an honor. And that intro was sick. That was really, really cool.
Well, it's funny, right? Because you probably don't even have perspective on yourself because you're just in it. You wake up every day. You're hungry. It seems like you love the game. But when you step back and you look at what you've accomplished, I think you got to sit back for a second and be like, oh, yeah, I do all those things, right?
Yeah, I'm very hard on myself, but in a humble way. I'm very proud of all the accomplishments, but I feel like I'm just getting started. And this angle is so brutal. So I'm moving right now for everyone watching this. So I'm in between, and it's a long story, but I got Jack, Nicholas behind me, is Nicholson, whatever. It's not the most flattering angle, but I'm honored to be here. Regardless.
You look good. The suit's fresh. The content's on fire. Like I said, you posted one this morning that made me laugh. The reel that you posted about all the different people trying to blow up a deal. Let's start with that. Like, where did you come up with the idea of that? If you're watching, make sure you go to his Instagram and check it out. Let's talk about like content ideation and execution, and then we'll dig into your backstory.
Sure. Yeah. So the reel that we posted last night, it kind of just came from, I was watching March Madness, and that Allstate commercial keeps coming on with the Mayhem Man. And I was like, well, this could be pretty funny if I, made it into like a real estate related one, because all of those different things we all come across, right? Whether it's an appraiser that undervalues a property just because they're in a bad mood, or, somebody that lists with a family friend that hasn't done a deal in 15 years. So I just try and tie all the things that I see or that I'm watching and I think, how can I turn this into something, funny that is real estate related that other people can relate to? Because our business and our job is so taxing. Everybody just thinks, we're opening up doors and, we make all this money, but this business is so stressful. And if you don't make light of it, or if you don't have fun, it'll eat you alive.
100%. So let's go to the origin story. Like, how'd you actually get started in real estate? Like square one?
Yeah. So I was 22 years old. I was kind of in a little bit of a dark place in my life. I was working like 100 hours a week in the restaurant business. I was drinking a ton. I was a little bit depressed just because I knew that I had more to offer, and I knew that I had more potential, and I wasn't really tapping into it. So I figured, well, I really want to start my own business, and I love real estate. I love all the shows, and it's always something that I've had a passion for. So I kind of just went and got my license, and that was really it. I figured if I was putting in that same 100 hours a week that I was in the restaurant business for somebody else, if I just parlayed that and did that into real estate in my own business, I knew that the only way that I would fail is if I let myself fail. And I would never let that happen.
We have that in common. So I was in hospitality for over a decade, multiple restaurants, and I was in it. I was in a dark place too. And it was like, all this pent up energy. And it probably was the worst industry for me to be in, because you have all the toys at your disposal. And it's like, point that energy in the right direction, and you're going to accomplish something, which is what you've done. But I guess, what was the first deal that you did? What was your entry into the industry? Like, go back there and tell me.
My first like 3 deals are absolutely hilarious. But to go back to your point too, the hospitality thing, some of the most successful people in our industry come from the hospitality business because they're sociable. They're used to connecting and relating to people. They're used to putting out fires, right, every second of every day. Yep. So I find that a lot of the most successful people in this business oftentimes come from hospitality. My first ever deal. So I used to bring my father around as a fake for sale by owner. Might get in trouble for this, but whatever. So he owns a landscape masonry company that literally has O'Neill and Wellashar on his truck. So same last name as me, right? So I used to do it, and I would tell him to park down the road, and we would walk into the house, and I would just tell him, like, listen, just pretend like you're a buyer, just be normal. My dad can't do that. So we get into the house, and he's, in the shower, turning on everything. He's asking about tile, and like clearly he knows what he's talking about. So I'm shooting him looks the entire time. Seller looks out the window, sees my dad, I guess, was running late and parked outside. Sees O'Neill, sees my card, same name, like same. I'm the third. He goes, all right, guys, like what the hell is going on here? Like gigs up, catches us red-handed. I was like about to cry and throw up. But long story short, he gave me the listing because he thought it was like cool how I was hustling, and he respected it. And now to this day, he still gives me business 4 years later. I've probably done about 60 deals with the guy.
Oh, I can appreciate the hustle. The same thing too. Like I've seen younger agents too come at like asking us about different things that we're doing. And it's interesting because like normally won't reply to the first one, but if they keep it up or I see that they're engaging in the community, they're supporting content, stuff like that. I've taken like 45-minute calls with people and given them free advice just because I appreciate the hustle. You see like yourself in those younger agents. I guess with the social profile that you have right now too, does that ever happen? You get a lot of people reaching out to you in those conversations, and how do you handle them?
Yeah, and I mean, that's really, in my opinion, one of the coolest things in the world. The fact that people do message you and me and say like how we are inspiring them, or that we motivate them, or that they need help. And I try my absolute best to get back to everybody, and I try and help as much as I can. And in my opinion, like it's just such an honor that people even see me that way, because if you knew how I felt about myself, or if you knew how I, saw myself 4 years ago, to even be in this position, to even be on your podcast right now,
Sure.
It goes back to what you said in the beginning. Like you kind of have to take a step back and be like, holy crap, this is, I'm really doing it. So I try my best to get back to everybody, but it's really tough, and especially with our busy schedules and doing everything. But it's the best feeling in the world. Really
The
is.
real ones understand that, right? I think if you're busy or you miss a meeting, little things happen here and there. As long as they're empathetic about it, bigger opportunities can come down the road. And I also think there's a danger, especially in our business, when agents get an onus of success. I've said this many times, and I said it recently on a TikTok post. The age of the celebrity agent is the greatest and the worst thing that's happened, because it exposes people to everything that we do. But other agents think it's literally just the virality that they need to experience success. They don't actually have to be good at their job. And agents start believing their own hype because they get a few followers. You're actually in production, right? Like you're a guy that's working and you're busy. How do you balance your skill set and, that celebrity that you would have with the profile that you have?
Yeah, so it's funny that you mentioned that too. So I have a team right now of about 30 agents, and a lot of them are a little bit younger and they're new to the business. So all they've seen now is the comedic side, or the videos and the viralities, right? So I'm trying to explain to them, because they want to do these videos, and that's all they're doing. It's like, listen, you have to be putting in the time, the effort, the energy. You have to be educating yourself. You have to know what the hell you're talking about. You can't just go out there and make a funny video and think that you're going to blow up or be successful. It's not how it works. So I preach that to my team constantly, and it's really happening more and more. And what was the question? I'm sorry.
Well, no, it's that's exactly what I wanted you to say, right? Because I don't want to get it misconstrued. Tat Londono, who kills it in Montreal, responded like, when you get the exposure, you're going to get people following you. And I love that, because she's good at what she does. I've known her, and I've grew up in Montreal, so I'm aware of what she's doing there. And there is a dichotomy and a balance. And I really wanted you to get that message across, that like, no, you actually have to know what you're doing. Like the funny videos and the virality and the growth, important. We're going to get to that in a minute in terms of, methodology and attention. But what do you do when you talk about, you need to know the market? Like, what are you actually looking at? Average days on market, sold prices? Like, what do you do to stay on top of the market?
Yeah, I mean, I study every single day. I'm constantly educating myself. I just signed up with the Tom Ferry ecosystem. So shout out to Jeff Mays. He's our team coach. He's the man.
Glenda Baker, Ray Allen, Brad McCallum, all the people. Yeah, you're going to be right in there with them. That's awesome.
And they're all amazing people, and they're all crushing it in their own right too. And I look up to all of them. So you have to be constantly educating yourself. You have to be confident in what you're doing. And again, like, you can make these funny videos, but if you're not making the cold calls, if you're not door knocking, if you're not doing the right things, you're never going to succeed. Or you know what? You might right now, because of how crazy the market is. But in 2 years, when the market shifts or turns, there's going to be a lot of people that are not in this business anymore, because yes, right now it maybe is a little bit easy to sell a house, but in 2 years from now, that's not going to be the case. When I first got my license 4 years ago, I was doing everything and anything I could to try and get people into houses, or trying to sell them, or get the sale price that I told the sellers I would. Sure. Now, you can you're a little bit spoiled. You put the listing up, and you got 30 offers, and you don't really have to do much. But if you don't do the necessary things now, you're going to be one of those agents who unfortunately probably won't be here in a couple of years. So yes, the viral videos and the content, it's all fun, right? It's all great, the followers. But if you're not actually hammering the phones and putting the work in, it's all for nothing.
No, that's very, very true. And actually, Matt Lamarche says he met you in August and he said you're super genuine. Matt's a
Oh
great
yeah, man.
dude. Spent a lot of time with him on Clubhouse and other ads. So everybody give Matt a follow. Derek Bixler is here as well. Said the real ones definitely understand.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
it's interesting, right? Because I love that about you. I think that's why I gravitated to your content and we developed a bit of a friendship through mutual connections. Was it wasn't just you showed up one day and you were just there kind of trying to just chase that piece of the business. You really wanted to build something. So give people a little bit of a landscape. I said you work in Long Island, you're in Florida, you have 30 agents. What does your business look like these days and what are you focused on?
Yeah, so I'm in a weird place right now with my business just because we are growing so fast and we are bringing on so many people. It is a little bit difficult for me to manage and,
Sure.
expand, but also, deal with my clients and my business. So I'm in a little bit of a weird place. I keep going back and forth between, do I want to continue and be in production or do I want to step out? And I see people in this Tom Ferry network like a Byron Lazine or a Tom Tool, and I think I'm doing well, right? So I'm doing maybe 200 deals a year. But you go see some of these guys, they're doing 500, 600 deals a year, but they're out of production. Byron doesn't even live in the same state as his team. He lives in Naples, Florida, and he's got the number one team in Connecticut. So how do those people kind of manage that and how do they build their team to that level? So it's a constant inner battle that I have every day, but I love being in production. And I think that it would be taking a piece away from me if I were to step back and get out of it. But again, it's just this inner battle that I constantly have. My business, my individual business last year, I probably did about 78 deals myself. And then my team did, 120 something. But it's really tough. It's tough doing your own business, putting out your own fires, and also managing and maintaining and providing leads for 30 other people and making sure that they succeed. But that's been I'm the happiest that the individuals on my team all have their own individual success.
Yep.
And that to me is like the coolest, I'm going to curse here, but the coolest shit in the world.
You know what? I think you can do what you want to do, right? Like I'm same as you. I've been inspired by other people doing very high levels of things. And there's lots of people that don't want to be in production. I've had these conversations ad nauseum, and that's okay for them. Like I like the game. I love deal making. I love negotiating. Got off a call with an ultra high quality builder right before this. We were just talking about it. And he's like, I just want to build the best houses in the world. I'm like, I just want to sell them. Like, I don't want to stop doing that. And I do think you, like, just to inspire you a little bit, I do think you can do what you want to do and be in production while doing the other things, right? It's a journey that I'm going through myself of like, well, where do I fit into the ecosystem? How do I let my agents fly apart from me? And we all work within the same ecosystem. So I definitely think that there's something there. Let's dig right into the content. The chat is blowing up as well. Mike Pistorius, he's in Windsor. Love the point. When you say new agents are being molded into current mindset of today's industry and how to perspective plan for future market shifts. Oh, he's got a question.
Okay.
What do you say to new agents that are being molded in the current mindset of the industry? So I think talking about the social celebrity agent and have perspective to plan for future. Like, what would you give that agent as advice?
Yeah, I mean, it's something I tell my team each and every day. Like I said earlier, the video and stuff, yes, that's great to get your name out there. It's great to be branded and have that like celebrity stature, I guess. But again, if you're not putting in the work behind the scenes, if you're not doing the things that are gonna, when the market does turn, if you're not doing those good habits, if you're not in those good habits now, then you're gonna be again one of those agents that aren't in the business in a couple of years. So I tell my team all the time, yes, the video is great, the social media is great, but way that I started, I'm sure the way you started, like we didn't have these, StreamYard, we didn't have these nice cameras or the camera crew. I used my cell phone, right? Like I was using a ring light. That's how I started making these videos. So a lot of these agents now are a little bit spoiled in the sense that they do have access to these camera crews and the film crews. And the other thing too is 4 years ago when I started doing these videos, it wasn't to be a celebrity. It wasn't to have any sort of celebrity stature by any means or even go viral. It was just because I was so young in the business and I needed a way to differentiate myself than everybody else in my marketplace that had been selling real estate for 20, 30 years. Right? Like, who's this kid who's 24 years old? How am I going to go to a listing presentation and beat out, the Brian Carps who are doing 200 deals a year? And that's when I started thinking of the videos and doing the comedy. But a lot of those agents, they looked down on it back then.
Sure.
They were like, look at this kid. What the hell is he doing? He's making a mockery of our business. This is not how you sell real estate. And now those same people are the ones that are reaching out to me to be in their videos.
How do you do it? Yeah. Can we collaborate and everything else too? Right. Yeah. I saw the same thing.
My original point of making these videos was never to go viral or never to, have the followers. It was literally just to be different and be unique and have fun. So I think that it's really important that you study your markets every single day. You know what you're talking about, right? You're reading Housing Wire or whatever your local, outlets are. You stay up to date, you stay informed because it's constantly changing too. So in the very beginning, I was making these like 4 minute long, videos. no one's watching a 4 minute long video anymore. Like that's so out. And I would spend so much time on it. Now it's 60 seconds, it's vertical, now it's 30 seconds. So it's constantly changing. And I think it's important that you stay up to date with the times and you know what you're doing and you work behind the
Yeah.
scenes.
I think you enjoy it too. I think that's a big piece of it, right? Is you have fun content creating. And that's not for everybody. Not everybody has to be a content creator. Like I know some insane agents that are probably top agents on the planet and they have no social media profiles. That's okay
Yeah.
too, right?
Yep.
So digging into the actual things that are working today. That's what people are here for. How they want to know, the title is How to Go Viral. That's obviously because it's a YouTube title. I want millions of people to watch this. But how would you tell somebody, like, I think they think, well, I'm going to do this one video. It's going to get 1 million and then that's going to change everything. Like, what was your journey? What's actually working today for you?
Yeah, so my journey was not that by any means. If you saw some of the first videos that we were doing, like looking back on them, they're awful. But you got to start somewhere, and the more that we were started to do them, the better and better that they got, the better the quality got, the better I got at kind of acting these skits out, and the funnier they got too, because the more experience I had in the business. So I think it's just important that you start somewhere, right? And you can't expect, again, just thinking of my team, you can't expect to just be in the business for a month and make a viral video and then your life changes. Like you look at somebody like Matt Leonetti.
Yeah.
Matt started at the same time. Dan Lee Plum. These guys started and have been perfecting their craft for years. It wasn't something that just happened overnight. And I think that, working at it and getting the experience and the practice is really the most important thing. And don't expect it to be perfect right off the bat. Another example, I have a ton of people that are afraid to get in front of the camera because they are anxious or they feel self-conscious about themselves. When I tell you this angle, I'm riddled with anxiety right now. I have eczema all over my face. I'm the biggest critic of myself, but if I let those insecurities prevent me from posting and from getting myself out there, I would probably still be in the hospitality industry and I would not be in the place that I am today.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like it's funny with your profile, you're sitting here and you're like, you're being self-deprecating and kind of hard on yourself. And you said that earlier on. I don't know if we caught it, that you're hard on yourself than anybody else. I'm the same way. Like I'm overly critical sometimes where I'm like, well, people think I'm just a salesman. I'm just saying whatever to get the sale. But I'm like, I actually believe what I'm saying. Like I've been shifting my narrative with my content because maybe people that don't know me don't know that I have a passion for media. And that's why I do a lot of what I do. Right. Like as you went through that journey and you put out the initial videos, what was it that kind of made you make those shifts, or what were some of the lessons that you learned along the way?
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest lessons for me was just that you are your own biggest critic. So the insecurities that you have, like now you guys all gonna know mine, but the insecurities that I have, like you probably wouldn't even have noticed it, right? Until I actually said something. So
For sure.
oftentimes we're hardest on ourselves. That was one of the biggest lessons. Second lesson was not to care about likes or views. So I always used to be anxiety ridden if like I put up something and it got like 500 views or 10 comments or something like bad at that time, in my opinion. And it was more so like, well, if I don't post this and get it out there, then what is it for anyway? Like you can't just start and have a video that gets 1 million views. So if you go back and look, like my first videos, they didn't do well. There's still videos today where I put out, I made a Grinch video about my sale of my own personal house. I thought it was the best video I've ever done in my entire life. It got like 45,000 views and like no comments. But if I sat there and if I let that affect me or affect my future videos, then, and then you can post something that you think is kind of not that great and it'll be the most viral you ever go, or it'll be like the most talked about video. So I think getting out of your own head and not being so critical about yourself, but also not giving a shit what other people think and not caring about the views or the likes, because all that is just, it's a facade anyway, right? Like you don't need likes and views to feel good about yourself. That was what I need to learn.
Benji Travis and Sean Cannell, I met them. They run Think Media, the huge YouTubers. And they were like, no, click-through rate and retention. He's like, don't worry about the subscribers. Put out the best videos that you can. Just press record over and over. And a good friend, Christina Smallhorn, also a big real estate agent on YouTube today. We were in a room talking about the virality of her videos. And she's like, yeah, I posted one. She's like, best video I ever did. And it didn't do super well. And I'm like, I know why. You love that topic and you're super into it and you're so passionate about it, just like you were with your house. You don't know what that video is going to do in 4 months or 3 months, or you don't know if one of the 45,000 people that watch your Grinch video said, hey, check this guy out, and then called for a $5 million listing tomorrow to their friend. Like that's the reality of what social media can do. So how has social media actually generated business for you? Like,
my gosh, it's like, I say my business is like half Instagram, half referral, but I think it's really like 100% Instagram and referral, because 99% of my leads come from Instagram.
Really?
99% of the recruits that I get or people that reach out to me to join the team are from Instagram or social media. I've never actually actively really recruited anybody. They've all kind of came in organically, and that was all through Instagram. The amount of connections that I made, the amount of sales I've done, it's like truly remarkable how, like, so I just got verified, right? I got hacked so bad. And luckily I knew somebody that, works with Instagram, because I was like, listen, if I lose my Instagram, I'm done. My business is over. I got no leads for my team. I am completely out. And, fortunately they got me back and they gave me that blue check, but like, it was really scary for a week. I'm like, I don't think anybody realizes my entire business is on Instagram, really. And it's a good and bad thing, because you never want to rely wholeheartedly on something, because if Instagram does go away tomorrow, I have to get creative and find, another avenue. But yeah, Instagram has completely changed my life, and these videos have completely changed my life. So
I think there's a natural progression to get you on YouTube as well, though, because you're in the ecosystem 100%. I think that you can take even the reels that you're doing on Instagram, translate them into YouTube shorts, and then do longer form stuff on YouTube, and essentially take that audience and point them in another direction. Because that must have been scary, of being like, man, I got hacked. What do I do? Like, what if that changes? So is that something that's in your mind now, of like, how do I capture that audience to make sure that we keep a connection?
Yes. So we're definitely going to be hammering YouTube a lot more. I'm going to be switching up some of the content too, to start doing some educational stuff as well. So it's not just the funny reels, and, definitely getting on TikTok as well. You got to be everywhere, in today's day and age, because not every single person is going to be on Instagram. Not every single person is going to be on Facebook. Maybe they're on LinkedIn, or maybe they are on TikTok. So I think it's really important that you shoot your content and that you repurpose it for everywhere. And that way you're just hitting everyone, from every angle possible.
I'm going to send you, after this, send me a message. I'm going to send you some documents that were shared with me that really helped me get started. And like, I don't even have that much traction on YouTube, but I can tell you the deals that I'm doing off of YouTube would blow your mind. That's and awesome. The cool thing about YouTube versus, say, Instagram is I could stop making videos today, and all of those videos are still generating business and leads, because the more Google figures it out, the more they're like, oh, okay, that's who likes those videos. Let me go find more of them for you, right? It's just absolutely wild. We had a question from an audience member. Matt Lamar said, Dan, people want your YouTube channel for sure. We had a Facebook user that said, is your Instagram account influencer or personal? Can you expand on this? Access to music, insights, pros and cons.
I think mine's I think it's just a business page. I don't think it's like influencer or personal.
Yeah.
What about you?
You have music and stuff on your reels, and you can add all that stuff too with the business page, right? Yeah, that's how I have mine set up as well too. So what do you think about the reel space right now? Like, talking about today, because it is very busy. Is it as easy to get as much traction as you did before? I guess, how are you navigating those waters?
I think it's constantly changing. Like, I talk to Eric and Matt all the time too. And Eric obviously has, 375,000 followers. He is like the absolute guru. So having him in my corner is the coolest thing in the world, because I get to pick his big giant brain all the time. But, Instagram is constantly changing. So like, there'll be a period of time where everyone's engagement is down, just because Instagram is either changing something or testing something out. So it's just ever changing. And again, back to the videos, like, I started with 4-minute videos. I used to make 25-minute long vlogs and put them on YouTube. Nobody's sitting through a 25-minute long vlog except for maybe my mom. So, hey, it's constantly changing, and it's important to stay educated on that stuff. I think reels are definitely very saturated, but it's something that you can go viral very easily. Like, I was just talking to Eric, and there was an agent in Utah. She was getting I don't know what her name is on the top of my head. She's getting 8 million views on reels. Wow. And she's only doing, it's like a 15-second reel with like a trending song. And it's literally just like
the property.
It's not even a property. It's just like it's almost like education, where like, it'll just be like, 5 different things come up on the screen with a trending song, and it's getting 8 million views. Wow. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here in a Grinch outfit, chugging 1942 tequila, trying to make a funny video, and 40,000 people are, so
that's so
I think
wild.
It's just constantly changing, and just, being aware of that and staying on top of it and staying educated.
Yeah. And not knowing that there's no, like, everything works and nothing works, right? You can think you got it figured out, but at the end of the day, it's, if you keep trying to hack the algorithm, by the time you figure it out, they're going to change it. There's the actual Grinch video that he shot as well. So let's get this one up to a couple million. So when you're doing this video, do you have a full production crew with you doing it? I'm assuming so, right? It's shot with the DSLR, like, it's shot pretty high end.
Yeah, I have one camera guy, and then we have an editor.
Wow. Yeah. That's the cool thing about today. I mean, back in the day to shoot a production like this, you're like 20 G's. Now with a good DSLR, a gimbal, and a kid out of film school, you could probably bang this out for a much more affordable price
Yeah.
point, right? Yeah, that's awesome. It's
Yeah.
so
But and
funny.
then like it shows you too, like so then the last two reels that we did, aside from the one yesterday, they got like 385,000 views on it.
Yeah.
And it was literally just so like if you scroll up and you go to my reels, when I
Yep.
got hacked, they got hidden.
Okay. Hold
The
on a
one that I
second.
did with my girlfriend, like yeah, what does that one say?
This one's 231.
Just
Batman. Yeah,
three.
I like how you dress up all the time.
The Batman one didn't do well, but then like the Bachelor one did 309, and then the other one did I can't really read that number, but
Oh, the Bachelor one's this one. That's awesome. You're
yeah.
so funny. That's amazing. You
But
ever have any trouble with the TV shows like reaching out to you about like infringement on their logos and stuff?
not trouble, believe it or not, like they've been reaching out to me to like come on shows, or like they reached out to my girlfriend after I posted that video with her right there. They reached out to her to be on like The Bachelorette or like Love Island. I'm like, you're not gonna do it, right? She's like, no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm just waiting for her to break up with me. I'll see her on TV.
Oh my gosh, you did it to yourself. That's
Yeah.
hilarious. Oh, that's awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? You're you, right? Like the same guy that I'm seeing in the video is the same guy that I'm talking to now. And I think even before we jumped on this call, I told you how my wife and I like to spend time in the Hamptons, and I've got obviously mutual connections in New York. And,
Yep.
I will be coming down there. I think that's the future of our job, where historically consumers would look at us and be like, these guys are just sales guys. They're just saying whatever to get a sign up.
Right.
I think it's an interesting age where the personal brand, if it's done right, can make all the difference in the world in the life that you're creating for yourself. And you don't have to be something that you're not. So how do you think inauthenticity affects people online? Because I think there's a lot of people just trying to do what somebody else is doing, and it's just not hitting.
Right here, look, I'm unequivocally myself, for better or for worse, right? Like I smoke a vape. It's a nicotine vape, but I'm unequivocally myself. I curse, I think I've cursed on here maybe 2 or 3 times. I have this stupid thing in my hand. And I think it's really important because if you are inauthentic, it reeks, right? People can sense it. They can smell it right away. So like I said, I'm myself, unequivocally authentic, no matter what, whether it is for better or for worse. But the way that I feel is if somebody doesn't want to work with me because I have this nicotine vape, or if somebody doesn't want to work with me because I drop an F-bomb every now and then you know what? You probably shouldn't be working with me anyway. So I really just like being myself and putting that out there. And what it does for my business is insane, because now I'm going on listing appointments. And I don't even like people tell me to put away my listing packet. They're like, listen, we don't need to see that. Like,
For sure.
we already know who you are. We already feel like we know you. And it just makes it so much easier, for business related and personal related, right? Like we've only really had communication on Instagram, but like
That's
I
right.
kind of feel like I know you. You're the same way in your videos, the same way that I am. And it's just a really easy way to already feel like you know somebody, and you don't have to sell yourself anymore.
100%. Like we started talking about the gurneys. You're like, oh, I can go down there too. I'm like, I take a motorhome to the gurneys. Like we're talking as if we've known each other for 20 years. But I think that's the cool thing is, people talk about technology separating people. I think used correctly, it can really bring people together. But I think the difference between maybe you and I and how we use it and other people is other people use it as a crutch, and they're using it to maybe fill a hole that they have, maybe to get to that place that they want to be at, where you're using it to expose everything about who you are, but attract the right people. Because I think if somebody doesn't want to work with you because of the vape, that's dequalifying somebody you don't want to work with anyways. Do you agree?
Right. I wholeheartedly agree. And even like the cursing thing too, like I definitely curse a little bit. I definitely drop a few F-bombs here and there, but that's me. And I'm not going to be different on the listing appointment than I am going to be if I'm on the podcast, or if I'm going to be sitting with you getting lunch, or if I'm getting a beer with you. Like I'm the same exact person. Maybe I have a suit on now and I wouldn't later, but I'm the same person. And in the very beginning, I will like admit, perception is reality for sure. And I definitely was putting stuff out there in the very beginning that maybe wasn't myself, or maybe I was trying to fake it until I made it, if in a way. And I kind of regret it. But at the same time, I think it did help me in the very beginning get to where I am now. But at the same time, I was also myself, right? Like maybe I was taking other people's listings in my office and not saying whose listing it was. But I wasn't, straying away from who I am. And if you go back and watch my videos from 4 years ago, it's the same stupid cackle laugh that I have. It's not changed. It's my same raspy voice from, this stupid thing. So, nothing has really changed. But I think in the beginning, I did try to fake it till I made it. And then I just realized, like, you know what? F it. Why not just be myself?
Yeah, everybody goes through that in the industry. I can tell you that. I mean, from the day they walk into the office for the first time to they walk into an open house to a senior agent's giving them a hard time because they know they can.
Yeah.
So many times, like I bet you do that with your recruits as well too, where you're teaching them how to speak to people and how to stand up for themselves. And that there's times where they don't need to really posture and pretend they know something that they don't, when they can just tell the consumer, I don't have the answer, but I have an army behind me and I'm going to get back to you right away. People will respect that more than you just making something up, right?
I did a training on that literally yesterday.
Yeah.
And that was the topic, was just don't bullshit your way through it, right? If you don't know, just say, hey, listen, you know what? I'm 99% sure, but let me just make a call really quick and I'll get right back to you. Because that was one of my issues in the very beginning, was like, although I was educated and confident, somebody would be like, oh, is this gas or oil? I'd be like, someone would be like, is it gas? I'd be like, yeah, no, it's gas, it's gas. Like, I had no idea. And it got me in, trouble. It made my life a lot harder. So now, and I try to preach this to the younger agents, like, don't guess, just that you're right. They will respect it more if you say, listen, you know what? I'm not 100% sure. Let me call somebody and I'll call you right back.
You'll earn their trust 1,000%. But even by saying that, like, you're not an expert at this, or like I saw an agent posting this yesterday about how, because they took a home inspection course, they're able to go in and advise their clients on inspection issues. I was like, oh, please don't ever say that. You're not qualified to do that. You may know like the generalities of it, but like real estate agents like to play lawyer, inspector, insurance guy, financing person. I'm like, I know my place and I know my role, right?
And that's why it's so important too. And part of my success in the last 4 years was just surrounding myself with the right people, because I'm not an attorney, right? I'm not a home inspector. I'm not a lender. And although I know certain things about those, trades, I would never pretend to be that way. So it's so much easier to have the right people around you. So that way, you know that you can pass them off, your clients, to these people, and the job's going to get done. But I tell people all the time, like, listen, I can't even change a light bulb. So if you're asking me if this wall is load bearing, I got no answer for you. Like, I'll knock on it. Your guess is as good as mine, right? So, but again, that's unequivocally being myself and not trying to be somebody that I'm not.
We would have fun working together. We would crush my market because we talk the exact same way. I'll say the same thing. Matt Lamar says Paige is a beast. Is Paige the Utah agent that you were talking about earlier? Yeah,
I think so.
And then I got a question from a Facebook user. So if you're on the Facebook stream, or we're streaming on StreamYard, make sure you allow Facebook to show your profile if you want to be featured on the stream. This is streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn at the same time. The question was, what's your TikTok handle?
It's the same. It's Dan O'Neill _ on TikTok.
Okay. Producer eScarf, can you drop the links in the chat, please, so everybody can go follow this beauty? Let's get into the rapid fire round. I'm going to let you go back to your deals. I know you were crushing on the phone right when we lined up, so I got to get you back there. I got 4 questions for you. You game?
Yeah, of course.
Awesome. Up to this point, what is the greatest lesson you've learned?
Oh, that's a good question. The greatest lesson I've learned is I learn a lesson every single day. I think the greatest lesson is to make sure that you are a good person. And that could be taken, in a million different ways. But I think from day one, I've always tried to incorporate giving back and philanthropy into my business, giving back my time to maybe some newer agents or people that need help or, seek advice. Yeah. And I think that because of that, the real estate gods have rewarded me. And I think it's really important that it's very easy in this business to kind of cut corners and, maybe not do things the right way, and you can make money, right? And you can do very well, and you can probably have a successful business for a short period of time. But the ones that are going to be here for the 20, 30 years on top of their game, they're the ones that are doing the right thing, that aren't cutting corners. And those are the ones that are, truly the good people. So I think that is, the biggest lesson that I've learned, is just to be a good person. And you know what? Sometimes if you take it off the chin, like, it sucks. It is what it is. Yeah. But I'd rather do that and be a good person and be able to sleep at night than cut corners and not be a good person.
I appreciate that. One of the mottos I live my life by is I'm not for sale. There's no amount of money that you can give me that's going to make me put somebody else at risk, and put myself in front of them. So second question, because you're so tapped in, I know, guys like you and I are paying attention to Web 3.0, crypto, blockchain, technology, social media. It's a lot, but your core base, your 80%, is what you're working on daily. You know what that is. You know what you can work on that's going to generate a ton of business. But 20% of your brain is probably learning something that like scares you or is out of your box. What is that 20%? Like, what are you learning right now that excites you?
What I'm learning right now, I would honestly say, is how to really run my business, not my own personal business, but how to run my team the right way with structure and having the necessary pieces in place, because as we expand, like, it's getting pretty scary. Having 30 people underneath my belt, I didn't know how to write a check until 2 years ago. Like, I didn't know how to do my tax. I still don't know how to do my taxes. I don't know a lot of the business side of it because I am 28 years old, and this kind of just really happened overnight in a way. Not overnight, but the team grew very quickly. So getting my systems and structures in place is something that I'm really spending a lot of time on.
Sure.
And the expansion thing too. We're going into a market that I've been there 11 times in my entire life, and all 11 of them happen to be the last 2 months. So, expanding in a market that I have no idea, I don't know anybody there. I don't know anything really about it yet. So it's really important to have the necessary people down there that do. But that's something that I'm really spending a lot of time on, is trying to be that neighborhood expert and learn as much as I can about this completely foreign market. It would be different if it were like the Hamptons where you vacation and you're kind of there. I was never in the Florida market or really never went there on vacation, nothing. So it's really learning like from scratch.
Well, the good thing is people are people wherever they are, and houses are still made of typically the same products, and they sell for prices, and what average days on market is. So you'll be just fine.
Yeah.
And we like going down to Florida as well too. So maybe I'll connect with you down there. Question for you, brother. So how has failure shaped your life?
It's the biggest thing, right? Failure is important for all of us to have each and every single day. I fail 20 times a day, but if I have, if I have 40 wins, but 20 failures, then it was a good day. So you're going to fail every single day. It's something that you need to, I don't even consider them failures anymore. I just consider them lessons, because you're going to get a lesson every single day. You're going to have failure every single day. And without it, I don't think I would be where I am. But I fail every day. Every hour I fail at something. And whether it's business related or whether it's in my personal life, right? I have my family who, they're upset they don't see me as much, or that I don't communicate with them as much as I used to, but it's really tough. We're working 80 to 100 hours a week and traveling and doing all these things. So in my opinion, like, that's kind of a little bit of a failure, but I'm using it as a lesson, right? I know that I have to improve, and I know that I have to be better with that. Failure in terms of business, whether it might be an agent leaving the team because they didn't get enough support, or, I couldn't offer them what they really wanted. In my opinion, that's a failure. But how do I learn from that, and how do I get better and ensure that that never happens?
Have you read Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink?
No, but I'm going to write that down right now.
Don't even write it down. I'm going to send it to you. Producer Eric, can you send him a copy of Extreme Ownership? Have RR send it out to him. Just get his address. Yeah, honestly, phenomenal. He's a Navy SEAL commander, right? So he ran multiple teams, and a lot of his principles you just set. The reason I like asking that question is quite often the people I have on this show, and we've had monsters on this show, hundreds of episodes, it's always the same answer. It's always failure is an opportunity to learn. Failure is an opportunity to look at how I can get better. The people that I don't have on the show, and the people that I find have a scarcity mentality, are the ones that are always looking for excuses. It's somebody else's fault. It's because of this situation. It's the market. It's this. It's that. Well, thankfully, these people aren't on the show. And this is the show where you find people like Dan. The most important question, the last one before I let you go. My platform is yours, brother. Where can people follow you? Are you working on something that matters to you? Philanthropy, anything, brother. My platform's yours. That's the last question.
I appreciate that very much. Yeah, I mean, so you can find me on Instagram. It's DANONEIL _ TikTok, YouTube's all kind of the same. And I think if there's anything that I would like to say, it is just that, and it is to be a good person and get involved, right? You don't have to do any philanthropy and post about it. You don't have to do things just for social media. I can't tell you the freedom that it gives you and the feeling that it gives you to go back and be a good person and to give back. So whether it's somebody that might be homeless on the side of the road, maybe even having a conversation with them, you don't have to give them money if you don't have it, offering somebody food, or, offering to mentor a new agent in your company, whatever it might be. If there's anything that I can relay on your show, is just to be a good person and try and give back as much as you can, because it's the best way to be, and it'll make you the happiest. Because I know that's for me.
Well, eventually this is going to blow up. There's going to be millions of viewers and millions of views. So all of you, go do something nice for somebody. If you're busy in your day and somebody needs food, or somebody needs time to talk, or you feel that draw that, you can love on somebody, do that. And then DM Dan, tell him that you watch the show, thank him, give him a follow. Dan, appreciate having you on. I'm sure this is not going to be the last episode. You're definitely going to be a repeat guest in the future, and hopefully see you in New York or Florida sometime soon.
Oh yeah, we got to have you on the new podcast we're doing, Between Two Lockboxes, with Eric. It's coming out in a few weeks, so I'm super excited about it. So we definitely got to have you on, and thank you for having me here. It was an honor and a pleasure. You're a legend, and I definitely, I'm inspired by all the stuff that you're doing too. So Thank you so much.
I appreciate you. Of course, Eric gets a laugh out of him. He's not even on the show. Between Two Log Boxes, that title is absolute fire. So everybody go follow the Broke Agent as well, Leonetti, everybody else, and I'll catch you on the flip side, brother.
You're the man. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate it.
Okay,
Talk
see
to
you,
soon,
Dan.
brother.
Take care. Bye.